The next Rainbow Six Siege operation titled Grim Sky has been detailed, and I've been playing it a bit for the last week or so on the test server. I'm trying to get back into Siege a bit more, God help me. When's it out you ask? September the 4th. Yeah, not long to wait at all for that really, and it's looking pretty tasty and playing well in my opinion. So in this video I'm going to go over everything included in the new content and some hands-on first impressions. So what exactly does Operation Grim Sky bring to the table? Well, new operators for one. Clash and Maverick are the stars of the show this time around. More on them shortly. As well as that, there are changes to weapon sights, improvements and bug fixes galore, as well as the reworking of hatches and a reworked Hereford base map. Quite a few changes and improvements to get stuck into, so I think we should get started. Let's start with the new operators, the first of which is Clash. She happens to be from Great Britain, England in fact, and if lore is your thing, then she happened to have served in the Territorial Support Group during the 2011 London riots. She's a defender in this game and her full name is Marawa Clash Evans. Ability wise, she comes with something unique. A shield. You may be thinking, well, that isn't really that unique, there are plenty of operators with shields, and that would be true, but remember I said she is a defender, and yes, Clash is the first defending operator ever to come equipped with a mobile shield. And that's actually her primary weapon, but she can swap to her secondary weapon anytime, but in doing so must put the shield away. Her secondary weapon being either a P10C pistol or an SPSMG-9 SMG. As for gadgets, well, she can equip either impact grenades or barbed wire, and she's a 1-speed, 3-armor defender. Just quickly though, more about her shield. It's extendable, cool, and it has the ability to slow down opponents by using a high voltage charged field generator. That's what they're going with, okay, and that emanates directly from the front of the shield. Now any opponents caught in this electromagnetic field Majogi also take a small amount of damage over time, and the goal of Clash is for the defenders to try and block off certain entry points or delay an attacking push. And then we've got the other guy, Maverick. This guy is from the US, and once again, if you're interested in the lore, he was once an intelligence officer in Kabul. Interesting stuff. His full title is Eric Maverick Thorne. For a primary weapon, he's got the choice of either an AR-15.50 or an M4. Then for his secondary, a 1911 TAC Ops pistol. Gadget wise, he can come equipped with either a claymore or a smoke grenade. He's also an attacking operator. So what's his ability then? Well, this one is definitely a little bit different. Maverick comes with a DIY blowtorch. That's right, I did say blowtorch, although I think flamethrower sounds cooler. It can breach any surface, so reinforced walls and hatches are fair game for this thing. Now if you have good map knowledge, I'm getting there, and a steady aim, you can make some pretty interesting lines of sight with this thing. You've got to be quite close up though to use it, and it runs out of fuel very quickly, so use it wisely. The upside and benefits are that he can't be countered by mute and other gadgets, but when using his torch, he's definitely vulnerable. What makes him interesting is that he can make small holes even in reinforced walls for peeking and new lines of sight. I think it's impressive really how Ubisoft keep coming up with unique and interesting operators this far into the game's life cycle, especially considering how hard it must be to balance them all against each other. And I remember a dev saying that they always wanted the new operators to kind of shake up the meta a bit, and it seems for the most part that they've been delivering on that promise, and these new guys will change things up. I mentioned earlier too that Hereford base has been reworked, and this is a big change, and I did mention in a previous Ubisoft video a while ago that the devs were planning on reworking a number of the base game maps that maybe weren't that popular or well thought out, and this one is the first to get that treatment, and you can instantly tell how different the map looks. In fact, it's visually way more impressive than the original version. It's not just all cosmetic though. The original reason for wanting to rework this map was to change up the flow and balance, so that's what they've tried to do. In fact, they say there are enough changes to the map to consider it as a completely new map, and having played it for a bit, I tend to agree with them. There are of course some features that will remind you of the old map, but it's a definite departure. There are new stairs, new hatches, and there are big differences to the rooms that you may recall from the previous map. I really like the new look of paint, but only time will tell if the changes that have been made improve the overall balance and playstyle. And yes, this may be the first map that's getting a rework, but don't expect it to be the last. I've no doubt that they're working on another one, or at least have plans to. There are some changes to Consulate as well, but that's not an entire map rework. The police line spawn has been extended to offer up a safer path to the building, and a wall has been moved near the gas station spawn to prevent early peeking. That's one of my pet hates with this game. And a fourth bomb site has been added in Tellers and Archives. You'll know what that is if you play the game regularly. Now, what about these hatches changes that I talked about, which might not sound that exciting, but considering how important hatches are to general gameplay in Rainbow Six Siege, it's quite a big departure. Hatch reinforcements will now allow for partial destruction. It seems that previously there were some reasons that partial destruction was not possible, but the developers seem to have worked their way around those problems and have found a solution, which has of course come with the addition of Maverick, who can make small holes to reinforced walls. It means that destruction of hatches is far less binary now. Previously it was either there or it wasn't, 1 or 0 so to speak. Now though, there's some in between, meaning that you can create some interesting line of sight angles and peeking spots that weren't there before. In turn, this does mean that Habana has had a small debuff. Previously only 1 or 2 pellets were needed to take out a hatch, now she needs all 6. So if a couple get destroyed, it will only partially destroy a hatch. The next thing I'm going to talk about I've requested since I very first played the game, and it's a small quality of life change that probably won't affect much people, but it's in the game now. If for some reason, and the reason might be alt-tabbing out of the game to look at Reddit or your Twitter feed, whatever, you do that and somehow you don't select an operator at the pick phase, or you run out of time, then you will no longer be a recruit, but instead you're going to be given a random operator from the list. Yes, finally, I alt-tab out a lot and this happens to me all the time because I'm an idiot. And you'll be randomly assigned one from the ones you have available. This is a really good change because sometimes there are reasons beyond your control, such as dank memes or time-sensitive Reddit posts that require your attention, or maybe you got to run downstairs, answer the door, get your pizza, get your food out the oven, whatever it is. From time to time, it's going to happen to you. So this is a great change for me personally, and I'm sure others are going to like this too. That being said, if you are one of those few people who want to challenge yourself and play as a recruit, then you can still pick that if you want. There's something for the console guys in this operation too, and they're going to get a new dynamic resolution scaling system. In essence, what this does is aim to improve the visual quality or resolution when the GPU or graphics card load is light, but it's going to drop that resolution down when lots of action is going on to give you a consistent frame rate. It's frame rate targets for console. It's been in other games before, but on Xbox One for example, which outputs at 900p, that means that you'll play between 1012 by 572 and 1432 by 804. The Xbox One X on the other hand, which is a much more powerful console, will work between 1944 by 1092 and 3072 by 1728. This may not seem that interesting, but it should ensure that no matter what console you're playing on, you're going to get a consistent experience thanks to dynamic resolution scaling. It doesn't however mention if you'll have the option to turn this off if you would always rather have a lower resolution and higher frame rates. I think that would be cool for the console guys if they could pick, hey, I want consistent frame rates and always have the lower resolution rather than having this scaling in place. And last of all, there's a brand new Frost Elite set that if it's your cup of tea, then you can buy it with some tasty new Grimsky weapon skins. Thatcher's EMP grenades will now temporarily disable cameras instead of destroying them, and Twitch's shock drone will emit slightly more noise. It is quite quiet actually, so that's a good change. You should also consider turning on two-step authentication for your account if you're planning on playing ranked, because it's going to become mandatory. During Operation Grimsky, the two-factor authentication will be activated during the season with an exact date still to be finalised. It will then become a requirement to have it turned on if you wish to join a ranked match. Honestly, I think it's a good idea to have it turned on anyway for security, but I imagine the reasoning behind it is not too dissimilar to having a Prime account on CSGO, where you have to tie in your mobile number and attach it to your account. I imagine that it's more of a security measure combined with a way of limiting players from easily getting a new account and playing ranked. Other than that, there are a few changes to ranked and casual playlists and the abundance of bug fixes that you might expect from a huge update like this. But you know what, Rainbow Six Siege has had a ton of new content over the last year, and they're also improving what's already in the game at a really good rate. Combine that with their very successful invitational competitive scene, and I think Ubisoft have done a great job in turning Siege into an exceptionally popular game on PC and console, and this kind of update just makes me want to play it more. I was thinking about doing a video where I'm looking at other Ubisoft titles that have benefited from their live service plans after the fact. And that's all for today, guys. Do let me know if you enjoyed the video or not and what you think of Operation Grim Sky. If you did enjoy it, leave me a like. If you didn't, a dislike. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.